Join us on Patreon to support our channel and the work we do to help people, animals and the planet.
You'll get rewards like ebooks, one-on-one Skype calls and online coaching discounts.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So we have had a lot of requests from people wanting to start up a YouTube channel, and they're after some basic tips. Where to get started, what do I need?
So we thought we'd put together this YouTube video tutorial. It's not going to be comprehensive, but it will cover the basics.
So at the time of making this video, our channel has been up exactly 20 months to the day. Yay! And for the first 11 months of our channel, we recorded videos on a webcam. It was terrible. It had the black lines down the sides.
The first part of that time was on a really old laptop, about 5 years old at the time. And then the second part was on a newer laptop, but still with the webcam.
And then after that, we bought a second-hand phone from eBay, I think it was.
Yep.
We started making videos on this. And
that
then,
was $150.
Yep. 3 months ago, we bought the Samsung S6 Edge that we're now recording on. So, moral of the story is you don't have to go out and buy a $1,000 plus camera. You can start your channel with whatever you've got. We would definitely recommend using a
smartphone, iPhone, or digital camera that can record in at least 1020p HD at least 30 frames per second. We feel that our channel growth was somewhat stunted at the beginning because we relied on a webcam for so long. So if you can afford, and most people have got that kind of camera on their existing smartphone or iPhone these days, I definitely recommend that.
So the next thing you're going to need is some equipment to put your camera on. So the Gorilla tripod is what we use, and this is really handy. It's flexible. You can take it with you outdoors, be creative with it. That's fantastic. We also use a selfie stick. This is great when you're vlogging. We don't have a separate vlogging camera. We only use the phone because we don't do a lot of vlogs, but a lot of other channels do have a separate vlogging camera, but the selfie stick is very handy. You can also buy a tripod with the longer legs, so depending on what your setup is, how tall you are, where you like to record, that will determine what you put your camera on. When we first started,
we used to balance the camera on like a shoebox or what have you and prop it up with books. That was very awkward, very time consuming, so we highly recommend investing in a Gorilla Pod or a tripod.
And these things are pretty cheap to start off with, so it's not a huge investment. Down the track, you can go all out and buy a green screen and lighting, and it's endless really how many things you can add to build your channel with. The other thing we would really stress is it is important to have good audio. So a lot of times we watch YouTube channels and
you can't hear a lot of the audio. So a mic is really handy, a lapel mic, and it's good if you're doing street talk, if that's the type of thing you see yourself doing.
But you don't have to. For example, we don't use a mic, we just project our voices. So if you're confident to speak up nice and loud, then your audience will hear what you're saying.
So you're either looking at a Mac or a Windows-based computer, and by computer we're including laptop. Generally speaking, Macs are more expensive for the same specifications. In terms of specifications, we recommend a minimum i7 processor. It's a lot faster for video editing than an i5, its predecessor.
So this has been a huge regret of ours. We recently upgraded from Windows to a Mac, and we got an i5 processor, and world of difference. We really should have invested more money to stick with the i7. That's what we had on the Windows-based computer. It's frustrating. There's a time delay basically, depending on how complicated your editing is, how many images and overlays of music and transitions you're using. If it's very straightforward videos that you're making, then an i5 is fine. But the more complicated, the more you want to build a story and make it more interesting, an i7 is what you're going to need.
Absolutely. Now Macs come standard with iMovie, which allows single image overlays. If you want multiple image overlays, you're going to have to fork out $300 for Final Cut Pro. Windows comes standard with Windows Movie Maker, which doesn't allow image overlays at all, which is really problematic, which is why we got the Mac for iMovie. If you want to do image overlays, which a lot of people do, you're going to have to spend at least $80 to get some decent video editing software for Windows, or all the way up to $300 if you want something fancy like Adobe Premiere, which is Windows' equivalent of Final Cut Pro.
I think there's more flexibility with Windows Movie Maker in terms of the text. You have more control, you can put it where you want, you have more just flexibility, especially with transitions, more options. It's like the iMovie editing software is more rigid and it's fixed and you can only do what it allows you to do. So pros and cons, there are some very nice techniques for iMovie, and that does make it easier to edit and quicker to edit, but if you could ideally put the two together and take the pros from both sides, that would be the ultimate. But that's
I think it's
probably
called Final Cut Pro and it costs $300.
Exactly, so you're going to have to pay for it if you want all those benefits. A great program to use for thumbnails is called PicMonkey, and that's just revolutionized our life, so very, very easy to make creative, fun, eye-catching thumbnails.
So you want to make your thumbnails as eye-catching and attention-grabbing as you can, especially with YouTube's new layout in the subscription feed. It's just extremely competitive.
And although a lot of people hate this, I'm sorry, but clickbait works. You've got to put something up that gets attention, that's controversial, that's just going to get people clicking on the video. That's why it's called clickbait. That's just the game of YouTube. It's very, very competitive. There are so many videos coming up every single day in people's feeds.
This applies to both the thumbnail and the video title, doesn't it?
They might not like it, but they're still watching and they might be intrigued to watch other videos. That's just the way YouTube game operates.
And if you're spreading a vegan message, the ends justifies the means. Spend a bit of time creating a nice end card showcasing your next video, as well as your social media links.
Play to your strengths. So if you're interested in health and fitness, then make that the path of your vegan advocacy and your channel. If you're more interested in the ethics, you can talk about that. If you're into environment, make it an environmental-based vegan channel. Just play to your strengths. You don't have to cover all aspects. Go with what you're passionate about, what best represents you, and what you feel comfortable speaking about.
So make your videos short when starting out. Don't do what we did and drag them out. What I eat in a day videos are very popular, and they're also easy to do when you're trying to get comfortable with the camera first starting out.
Later on, once you've built your channel, you can delve into deeper topics that are going to require longer videos.
Spend some time coming up with a standard greeting and sign-off that you use in each video, like Freely's "Hey Fruit Bats" and "Don't forget to go fruit or root yourself." It's taken us all this time to come up with a sign-off for our channel.
What that does is it helps to build your channel's character, to build rapport with the audience. It's just something that they're familiar with, so it really builds your, your online identity and your character. Make videos on trending topics. So look at what other YouTubers are doing, look at what's making the headlines and go with that. We've met a lot of people who say, I don't want to follow trends, I want to make trends, which is a great idea, but realistically, go with what works, go with what people want to watch, what people want to click on, and do as many of those as you can to get the numbers, to get the subscribers, and then you can do your trend making videos on the side.
And make sure you get the vegan message in every single video you make, somehow, some way. Wear a t-shirt if the video has nothing to do with veganism.
You want to make your videos as creative and entertaining as possible. So make your edits very sharp and clean. You can use transitions to move from one scene to another. Overlays, music is wonderful. Use free music from YouTube's audio library and just make it something that you would want to watch. The main thing is, do not strive for perfection, just start your channel and you will figure things out along the way. It doesn't matter what your first few videos are like, you'll grow, you'll develop, you'll work it out, and in 6 months' time, you'll wish that you started your channel today. Trust us.
Don't worry, your audience will tell you if it's working or not and what you need to improve on. So I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video tutorial, guys. Leave your comments in the description below. What tips do you have that you could impart to a new vegan YouTuber?
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
And remember, going vegan is not the most we can do.
It's the least we can do, and the best way to spread the message is on social media. Start your channel today. See you next time.
Bye, guys. So we're going to show you that veganism is not only good for your health, the animals and the planet, but it's also good for your pocket.
You're actually going to save money by eating vegan.